The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive adults, small animals, and the general public. Viewer discretion is advised. Well, Scott, what do you think? We're back from vacation and we're going to do it again.
All right, tee it up. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay. I hope I can't make this work. Okay. Come on.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We're gonna slide us over. Am I?
No,
we're okay?
Pay no attention to that.
Okay.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. This is Uncle Scotty Barter along with Elmo the Insane Schneider, and welcome to the January 23rd edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. This is our first real. Well, we had a show on the 2nd, wasn't it? Or the 3rd? It was the 3rd. And we took 2 weeks off, and I am wearing
Second.
Holiday
hangover.
That's right. I am wearing my official Milwaukee Braves hat. These were the exact hats that when the Braves were playing in Milwaukee, in tribute to Henry Aaron. We're going to get to some of him in a minute. We are now on a mission to broadcast in 2021 anywhere on this wonderful planet that we call Earth. We are streaming live across the very frigid cornfields of the Midwest and to everyone around the world. We are brought to you this morning by our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, and a host of other very fine local businesses. We remain committed to the great city of Kenosha and will continue to broadcast live and local, bringing you the best in news, weather, sports, and entertainment. And, of course, we welcome your call in 262-597-3020. Usually after 2 weeks off, I get a little rusty, and I of course, you couldn't tell it after 25 years. I'm still rusty.
That's when we got the big anniversary coming up. We got to do something
6th,
for the big anniversary show. 25 years, and
we got to start. Maybe we take. I don't know if we're gonna. We can do it here. I don't know. We'll have to see. And if you're gonna watch the replay, you no longer have to wait, and you can just go to YouTube and simply type in.
As long as they don't kick us off.
Yeah. Well, they're kicking everybody else off. I mean, well, Trump lost his Twitter feed and his Instagram,
Yep.
And so did. There's a couple other people that they took down off of Facebook too. So
You got to put the generator in. I can put a streaming server in here, or a couple of them. So good.
we'll talk
we got room in here, so we can have our own.
We'll talk to Jay. He owes his money.
That's it's like, hey, maybe we can. We can stream off the hospital servers. How about that? He can fix that up. So, okay.
Get a bill from Northwest Hospital down in Evanston.
We don't say who they are. So,
Okay. Anyway, again, our phone number is 262-597-3020. It is 17 degrees here in the Kenosha Nation this morning.
It's warmed up. It was like 8 degrees when I left the house.
We're supposed to have a little snow overnight, up to maybe 4 inches. And
that's what she said.
so much for staying on the air. Anyway.
No, they let that stuff on the air. So
yeah, it's just you can't, and we don't want to do that anyway. But
you just can't say I support Trump.
I'm just kind of not in the.
You
middle.
got these rugs down there.
Well, otherwise they put holes in my carpet here.
Yeah.
I might.
You talk about me.
That's kind of stupid when you look around here. It's dusty. You got to take a shovel to get it off of here. Oh, I have these little air filters.
You got more dumbbells in here than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've been working out.
Yeah.
A little have. Stock market still way over, close to 31,000, which is pretty amazing. But for those in the market, you're doing good. And I think it's going to stay there, my prediction is. And so the Saturday morning Breakfast Club starts right now. And we have a couple, this is kind of real sorrowful. My boyhood hero, going back to the Milwaukee Braves, was Henry Aaron. And we're going to get into what a career he had. He passed away at 86. And what a gentleman he was. I remember I had his autograph many years ago at County Stadium. And I think it would have probably been the late 50s. And I guess I didn't think much about it at the time because he was only in maybe his third year of pro ball. And, you know, we got all kinds of stories, but I like Muhammad Ali's quote. He idolized Henry Aaron more than he idolized himself. So, you know, there was a story that was told back in the '57 World Series. He comes up to bat in Yankee Stadium, and the catcher was Yogi Berra. And Yogi says, "Hey, Hank," he says, "Hank, you got the label wrong," because, you know, on wooden bats they had the label. He says, "I didn't come up here to read. I came up here to hit. Next one's out of the park." So,
I showed you the Yogi Berra book, the whole, you know.
I got some of that stuff around here, but
The Yogi quotes, it's great. So.
Anyway, they showed pictures of him yesterday. He was only 17 years old, not a penny to his name, and just a little satchel. He started in pro ball. Well, he was with the Indianapolis Clowns in the Negro Leagues, and then he had a tryout. He could have gone with any team he wanted by the time he was 20, and the question was, why didn't you go to New York? Because it was a bigger market. He said, with all those stars there, I'd still be playing in the minors. Guys like that. So
I doubt that. So
he was going to then go with the Giants, and everybody says, what an outfield that would have been with Willie Mays and Hank Aaron together. But he was trying to get out of the Deep South in the Ku Klux Klan, and he thought Milwaukee was a nice small market for him. And he fit perfect, and God, the Milwaukee loved that guy. And after the Braves moved after '66 or in '66, he didn't want to go back to Atlanta. He says, I did everything I could to get out of there. And so he has a meeting with Martin Luther King, and there was a guy named Abernathy and Jesse James.
Ralph Abernathy.
Ralph
Abernathy.
He was a black fellow, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was one of the leaders.
And they said, you have to come here. And so he did, and as he got closer to hitting Babe Ruth's record, he was getting something like 3,000 hate letters a day, and he kept them all. And just as a reminder of how bad things were then, and you know, you think we'd have come a lot further. And some days I think we have, and then there's other things that happen that maybe we haven't made this movement as much as we should.
I think we have. I think there are people that want to make money out of it that
that could very well be. Yeah.
They're going to be out of jobs and can not make money unless they keep fomenting hate.
Keep the fires stoked.
That's right.
But I would like to think, and you know, we've had the incidents with the Jacob Blake and not Pink Floyd, but what's the guy in Minneapolis?
George Floyd.
Yeah.
Floyd. Yep.
And then there was the lady in Louisville, and so we had those that grabbed the big headlines for 2020, and I just hope we can get past that. And I'm glad that we didn't have any riots back here in Kenosha when they announced the verdict.
Scott, when you were in the National Guard, did you ever have to sleep on a parking garage floor like Biden made the National Guardsmen do?
Well, we were only called out one time, and that was when the Milwaukee firemen went on strike. And we had to, sleep in our stuff, and because when the bell goes off, you got about 15 seconds to. We didn't sleep. We didn't go down the pole. We just sit there and hooked on. That was kind of a waste because we weren't. They didn't want us to do anything. We weren't trained to put out fires. And
though I do have to think that the people that were in Vietnam had to sleep in a lot worse places than a parking garage.
Oh yeah. I had to get my hat on straight here. Get my head on crooked.
No, your head is crooked. That's the problem.
Anyway, we weren't, back in the 70s, we were trained originally to go kill the Viet Cong, and then you come back and got reassigned here, and you went from that to riot control. And back, if those who remember what
do we do here?
Huh?
Riot control.
This is what. Well, this
obviously you weren't trained well because.
I'm going to get to that.
The Bar Manor riots.
We had there was 4 units in this battalion, 2 in Kenosha, 2 in Racine, and 1 in Oak Creek, and this was a field artillery battalion. And here we are. Those who remember on 45th and 30th Avenue.
30th
where
Avenue.
Where the,
yeah. The Bonnie Haim.
yeah,
site.
right on the corner
Yep,
there.
Yep.
On the weekends, we would go out, and our riot control consisted of throwing water balloons and flour bags. I mean, that was it. We were just all getting messed up, but they were.
I sponsored an event with that with girls in bikinis throwing water balloons and
Well,
and flour bags. So
That goes my military training. So, you know, the things at that time were really screwed up. This was nothing like you see these National Guardsmen now, with all the gear and the packs and the bulletproof vests. And it's my understanding that, at least it was back then, M16s used to have a full clip and you could just pull the trigger and 30 rounds would go out.
automatic,
After Kent State, they put a mechanism in there that you had to feed them one at a time.
semi-automatic.
And wasn't even, you had to feed them one at a time, and the only
It was
one.
bolt action.
That's pretty much what it was.
Yep.
Same M16, but you had to do it one at a time. Why is my head crooked there? Maybe I'm just. At any rate. So
That's that's the question for all eternity. Why is my
262-597.
why is my head crooked? Okay.
So this was after Kent State, and I think it was 6 kids that got killed, and by the National Guard, and there was riots
4.
going on. 4, okay.
That's a song for Dead in Ohio. That's Neil
Oh,
Young.
okay. But
let's see.
many others were wounded. So after that, the only person that could issue you ammunition was the governor of that state. Now, I don't know if it's still this way. There's no sense putting 25,000 guys out on the streets without some form of ammunition. I don't think they had it on their persons, but they had the little ammunition boxes right there, and somebody would have had to offer
we don't
us.
have to worry about that in Wisconsin because our governor can't find any of the COVID vaccines that he's got stashed away. So, God forbid he can find any bullets.
Bullets.
Okay, so-
So let's get back to Henry Aaron. You know, he signed with the Boston Braves, and then when Milwaukee came here in '53, he made it to the big time in '54 when he started. And a lot of people don't know this. A little trivia is he started in minor leagues in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as a shortstop. Mm-hmm. But you know, and all these tributes that they were given, you know, he played baseball the way it was supposed to be. You know, they showed him, he hit a home run. There was none of this like Barry Bonds and doing all this crap and flipping
He
the
just
bat.
went around. Well,
Yeah.
they're talking about him and guys like Roberto Clemente
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, they're just there for the game,
And,
which is the way it should be.
But somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was television or the big salaries, he, you know, they were showing a picture about Barry Bonds. Of course, his record is tarnished because of the juice that he was on.
That's right.
And but here's a guy that hits 555 home runs, 755, the legitimate way.
That's right.
And I was there in '75 on opening day when Bud Selig brings him back to the Brewers to be the designated hitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, the chills when they were introducing everybody.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
goes last. My God, the place is up for grabs.
I saw him at County Stadium. I saw him play.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was great when I was a kid. So,
And you know, some interesting statistics is here's one thing that last month Major League Baseball added Negro League records, the old Negro Leagues, to
Okay.
Major League
To Major
official
League
stats.
Baseball, yep.
So meaning he actually hit 760 home runs and had more RBIs, total bases, and All-Star games than anybody that's ever played when you count that in.
yep.
And he, you know, he never spent a day on the disabled list over 23 years. That's pretty amazing, and you know, still 160.
Well, now, and I talked to a doctor about this, and these guys work out so much that they actually overtax their muscles are so strong they break their ligaments. That's what you have, like ACL injuries and stuff like that.
yeah.
Their muscles are so strong they overpower the ligaments. That's a problem. You got to keep it balanced, and that's
You know, when I started in the insurance business 40 some years ago, it was with Prudential, and their claim they had a picture of in the office in Brookfield of Henry Aaron. And I said, "What's he doing here?" He says, "Well, he was an agent for Prudential."
yeah. He was
Yeah.
an insurance
And
agent.
so,
He
they
did
go to
that.
some
after
big-
he retired. He was an insurance agent. I remember.
This was during the
that.
off seasons in the late 50s and before he moved. And they said, "Well, here I'm talking about your insurance, your pension plan. Oh yeah, by the way, here's Hank Aaron." He just sat there and did nothing. Okay.
No, he was actually okay with that. So, okay.
Well, a lot of baseball players had to have second jobs.
Football, all the sports.
All the sports did.
You know.
You know what's amazing is he hit 755 home runs, never hit more than 50 in any one year. He had a couple years where he hit 44. How coincidental. 44, he hit 49 once, 39, 44, 47. So his, I think, consistency and to play the game like it was supposed to be played, I wish we could get back to that. Unfortunately, with the big salaries that they command.
Here's the question. Let's tax your brain a little bit, Scott.
All right.
When he joined the Brewers, okay, who gave up his jersey to become so he could be number 44?
I'm going to say it was a pitcher, but I'm not sure. Who was it?
Gorman Thomas.
Oh, is that right?
Stormin Gorman.
He was 44?
Yeah, we said, well, yeah, Hank Aaron gave me a 12-pack, and that's all I wanted. He could have his.
There's Gorman Thomas for you. You know, that is a trivia question. You know, his first number was, in the first year he was in Milwaukee in 54, his number was 5. Yep. And then he got 44.
No, Stormin Gorman gave up his jersey to Hank Aaron, so
that is a good trivia question. That there. What are you going to say? No.
Well, he brought up a bratwurst and a 12-pack. That's all he cared about. So.
That's Gorman Thomas. Those guys. Who was the other guy, the big pitcher that had the mustache? And some of those guys were.
Well, Raleigh Fingers had the mustache.
Raleigh Fingers, but there was another big guy.
Well, Don Sutton that just died too.
But
he was in there, and
those were beer drinking guys. And
yeah. Talk about Milwaukee. They're classic Milwaukee guys. You gotta.
And then also in the sports world, this last week we lost Ted Thompson, who was the famous Green Bay Packers.
He was a completely unlikable guy, but he did a great job.
He knew how to pick. You know, listen to the guys he drafted: Nick Collins, who I don't know if he's still with us.
No, he's
Greg
gone.
Jennings,
Yeah.
James Jones, Jordy Nelson, Clay Matthews, Eddie Lacy, Randall Cobb, Mason Crosby.
Crosby was still with him.
David, how do you pronounce his name? Bakhtiari, and Devontae Adams, Charles Woodson, and Julius Peppers. And he took them to the Super Bowl, and he also takes credit for trading Brett Favre to the Jets at the end. Well, you know what? You had Brett Favre, who...
Then you had Aaron Rodgers. Okay, was that a bad decision? Okay.
And here you had Aaron Rodgers, who sat on the bench for 3 years, like this number 1 pick from, what's his last name?
Despite what you hear on all the sports talk shows, I think Jordan Love was drafted to become a insurance policy for Aaron Rodgers. Because remember how many years ago when Aaron got hurt?
He was out 6 weeks.
Yep, and they need somebody to just... says, no, he will eventually be your replacement, but right now, if you get hurt, and you want to go to the Super Bowl, we got to have somebody else that can come in there and take your place. He's not taking one snap on the field or anything like that, but I think he's probably the hardest worked guy in professional football right now. So,
and then the big question is Mahomes going to play? And apparently is now, if he passes
he is
protocol today.
I just heard this morning he is okay. He passed it. So.
Well, he had to get cleared by his team doctors, and he had to have an independent doctor. But the concept almost still the same. If the Chiefs don't have Mahomes, and the Packers don't have Rodgers, and if Tampa Bay doesn't have Brady, I mean,
well, I got to go to the Saints. They had 2 good backup quarterbacks for the thing when Drew Brees went out. So
that's true.
They did that, and that's if your goal is it's a team game. If your goal is for the team to get to the Super Bowl, you got to have qualified backups in certain positions.
And I think Rodgers just renewed. I think he's got 3 more after this, but he's going to be getting some big time money. And depending how his productivity now, look at what Brady did for Tampa Bay. They were nothing until he got there.
Well, no, they were good. They had a great defense.
Well, they never made it to the playoffs,
right?
Or the possible Super Bowl.
Well, the whole debate there was: is it Belichick or is it Brady? Well, I guess we found out. So
yeah. But they went to the Super Bowl six times, and I think Brady's won 4. And I think
he's going for his 7th ring.
7th ring, okay.
Yeah, he's got six Super Bowl rings. So.
And I think the only one that's close to him would be Terry Bradshaw, boy, if you see him on the pregame,
Oh.
you talk about putting on some LBs
Yeah.
there. Holy mackerel.
What will I talked to K-Dog and I said, Terry's a funny guy. I said, what they got to do is cast him as the Penguin in the next Batman movie. So
Fat Man movie.
he would be great as the Penguin, I think. So
He comes-
yuck.
He comes up with the big straps and suspenders, and he's got that goofy hat on. You know, I
In
thought
a pink tie.
in a pink tie. I thought that was Al Roker with the big purple glasses. But at any rate, those guys are entertaining, and I think the pregame.
No, he's Terry. He's funny. So I've seen.
Well,
him
that's why
a
they
lot
have
of
to be
stuff.
entertaining when they're talking about some of these things. And I guess the word this morning was Larry King also passed away earlier this morning. They haven't confirmed it, but he'd been battling COVID for some weeks, and you know he's 87, so naturally he gets thrown into the COVID pile, right? I mean,
Well, he's been married 7 or 8 times.
been married.
So that's enough to kill you right there. So that's
he's married 7 times. One gal he married twice. It's like our friend Jay says. Next time he gets married, he says, "Here's my wallet. Let me buy you a house. Let's call it a day." Huh?
Yeah. Let me just buy a house and
I'll see you at the end.
right now and get it over with. So.
And again, tomorrow is the big game with the Packers. And
No, the big game's not for 2 weeks. So that's,
well, I mean,
you can't
you're playing
say
one at a time here.
You can't. No, you can't say
Oh, you can't say
the S word.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's-
that's it. So that's, good.
that's supposed to be copyrighted, huh?
That's right.
Well,
It's just if you use it in any form to make money, you just have to call it the big game.
I'll tell you what, I'm calling it Super Bowl because we ain't making no money here. And if Tampa Bay does get there, this will be the first time in the 55 years history of the Super Bowl that somebody will have a home field advantage. Because that's where the Super Bowl is.
That's it.
And,
Yep.
and
that's why they got to get.
I think they're going to allow 22,000 people into that stadium. And I heard it was 6 or 8 going to be in Lambeau today. Nobody in the skyboxes, but they've spread it all out. And the big issue is it's supposed to snow tonight.
They get them those signs they whack on the bleachers up there. So.
And you know, it's perfect Packer weather for tomorrow. Mid-20s, upper 20s, and snow.
Chance of snow. I think the snow is going to stay to the south.
Well, it's going to come tonight, but at any rate.
Snow is going to stay to the south.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, it's good. What's going to hit here, I'm thinking.
4 inches.
Well,
That's what she said.
Yep.
Okay. But
no wonder my head's crooked. But it's going to be an interesting game. You know, those guys practice in 80-degree weather down in Tampa, and they come up here, and they should come up here a couple days earlier and get acclimated to this kind of weather because, yes.
they can't. It's COVID. They'll stay at the old Paper Valley Hotel in Appleton. You know, what the-
Oh, is that where they stay? They used to stay downtown. At some
No,
point.
no. All the visiting teams stay at the Paper Valley Hotel in Appleton. So,
All right.
but it's called something else now. They sold it.
But it looks like they haven't announced the MVP. But if it ain't Rodgers, man.
Somebody went over his statistic. You know, they named the top 5 quarterbacks. I heard this.
This year, you mean?
No, since the year 2000 and stuff like that. And Rodgers' stats are so much above everybody else's. It's amazing. So
Even Brady's?
Way above Brady's. You know, yep. Well, yeah, but Brady had a good team behind him. That's
He didn't have to pass 40 times.
40 times or anything. No, his.
Yeah.
They're just saying Rodgers' lifetime quarterback rating is like 105 or something like
Yeah.
that. So that's
But it'll be interesting, and I think the weather conditions could come into play.
it'll help.
It should help us, but
It'll help.
you know,
For a Southern California guy. So okay.
yeah. But he's been in Wisconsin for what?
Northern California.
14.
It's easy to like San Francisco around there.
Well,
But it's still-
it can get cold out there, but when you get here, and he was talking about the last time. He says, "Oh, I woke up and the snow was coming down. It's about 30 degrees. I feel pretty good about that." They went out. Now, don't forget I guess you can throw that out the window. The Bucks, Tampa Bay, beat them 38-10 back in October.
Yeah, but
the Packers gave
LaFleur
up the
said,
ball.
I did not prepare correctly for that game. I did not. So he said, it ain't going to happen again.
Don't forget that. Anybody wants to call us, 262-597-3020.
Yeah, we haven't. We must be really interesting because nobody's calling us. So that's,
Well, you know, when you take 2 weeks off, you know, we were in kind of a a pattern of.
We have a fair amount of viewers
And
here,
I think
but
I think the key is when you do these things, you have to consistently do it every week. And remember when after we left WLIP at the end of February, it took a while for people to find us, and then we found us, and we finally broke up a phone, and we're not going to try to stay away from
they're just mesmerized with our charming personalities.
in my crooked head. Well, we've had some jackpot winners. The Powerball was won $731 million, sold in Maryland, and it was a town of I think about 300 families.
Uh-oh, now we have callers. All you got to do is ask.
Beg, we're begging.
All right. Is it Dennis or Shirley first? We'll do Dennis first.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, you asked for callers. In the words of George Costanza's father, you got it, baby.
Let's bring Shirley in here, too. Okay, we got... Good morning, Shirley.
Good morning. How's everybody? Welcome back.
Yeah,
Where have
thank you.
been?
Did you miss us?
Yes, I did. Uh-huh.
Hey, do you call our friend Steve Casey when you're done with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Shirley. So,
Hi.
hey, Dennis, you still got it, buddy.
It's cold out there today.
You still got
Yes,
it.
it
Dennis.
is. Okay,
There you go.
it's called. Okay, yeah.
Now you can start your heavy breathing, Dennis, because what's going to come up on the picture, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with.
Larry King, oh my gosh, I really like Larry King. He 7 or 8 wives. He was some guy, I'm telling you.
How long were you married to him for?
Did he marry somebody twice?
Yeah.
He married somebody twice. I forgot who it was, but.
You know what? He was never married to Elizabeth Taylor, though. So that's the...
All right, let's get rid of this before Dennis has a stroke. Sorry, Dennis. Got to bring you back to reality here.
Oh, man.
How's Nancy?
Okay.
Sandy just got back
From the mall.
Oh, good for her.
Hey, Shirley, you didn't hear. We finally ended up having my birthday party last Saturday in conjunction with the Packer game. But the week before, I get a text from my oldest daughter, Julie, and she says her and her boyfriend, Mike, are going to Nashville. Okay, they've been to Nashville. I forgot, Elmo reminded me that they'd gone to Nashville a year ago,
And got
took the
engaged.
tour, and got engaged on the stage of the Grand Ole Opera. So I get a text from her on Sunday morning with her picture, their two hands in rings, with no explanation. What is this about? She goes, "Oh, we eloped and got married." So we pulled them into the party, and I had all my grandkids there, and so we actually had at halftime a cake and it was
Champagne and everything.
Yeah,
It was a very nice event, actually. So
everybody's well
I
behaved.
never congratulate you on anything, but it was very well done. I do have to say that.
Here was my dilemma.
Got married, did you say?
They got married. Yeah.
Yep.
They eloped
Wow. In Nashville.
in Nashville. Correct.
Yep.
Oh, that would be exciting.
The marriage or the city? Well, I like this guy. And so they've been together for at least 3 years in the house, and he's contributed a great deal. He put in a pool and built a deck on the back, and then he redid the basement and put in, because they're both working from home. And so,
Wow.
And they've got 7 kids between the two of them.
yeah,
So that's it.
just my 3 are living with him because his 4 are somewhere else.
They visit.
So
7 between them? Wow.
Yeah,
good
yeah.
luck.
So we're having the ceremony. They were cutting the cake. You know how the bride and the groom they give each other a bite of cake.
Yeah.
So my granddaughter Samantha is trying to take a picture, and these two couldn't quite get this together. And she goes, "Come on, let's do this right. It's not like you haven't done this before." So
Sunshine Sammy.
yeah, Sunshine Sammy, yeah, Sunrise Sammy, yeah, whatever. So it was nice to have the grandkids. We had pizzas, and they had a special. So
And the Packers won.
and the Packers won.
So it was.
Right.
Dennis was there. I'm thanks for showing up, Dennis.
You know, we're talking to two Bear fans, so that's.
Oh, well, I'm,
Well, Scott, what do you call those, now you have what, grandkids-in-law? Is that what you call
well, I don't know what they call him. I've never met his four. So I said to him, if they decide to have kids, they better. Maybe you were there. If you're going to have kids, wait till after I pass on because I got enough problems with all my children sitting here. So I used the old line that I used with my first daughter. I said, Mike, this is not a loan. He looked at me. I said, I don't want her back. She's all yours. So.
Don't get her back, right?
No.
And you confirmed that the Summers Parade is supposed to take place, right?
I got an email that the applications they're taking applications. Well, we can wait till actually 1st of June and just to make sure that they're having it. You know, we had our application in last year. They didn't cancel that until like 2 or 3 days before.
You gonna put it in for the Wienermobile again this year? Can we get the Wienermobile?
I'm going to try. I can't find where the paperwork is on that thing. We had put in to use the
Oscar Mayer
Oscar Mayer.
to drive the Wienermobile in the Summers Parade, but okay.
What I'm toying with the idea is that you walked with us, right? 2 years ago, Dennis?
Hello.
Yes?
You walked with us, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I held the banner.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I learned a very good lesson 2 years ago. I bought a 12-pack of beer, put it in the back of the pickup, thinking that
You're not supposed to have alcohol in the parade. Come on,
well,
Scott.
No. Well, thinking we'd have it at the end, you know, because everybody's thirsty. And Jay comes and he says, "You want that last beer?" I said, "What do you mean last beer?" He says, "There's only one left, and we haven't gotten to the parade route yet." And I said, "How can that be?" He says, "Well, look at you got 5 alcoholics walking with you. What would you expect?" So
Yeah, what do you expect? Yeah.
I still have a bag of Tootsie Pops, Tootsie Rolls, and
What, from 5 years ago or something?
yeah, that'll be hit a kid in the head and put.
Yeah. It's like throwing rocks at them. So, well, wait, I suggested that the one year we should just buy 40-pound bags of gravel and throw rocks at all the kids on it.
We love you, kids. We love you. Snot-nosed little people.
How about it? I was standing there talking to a guy with a cowboy hat on.
Yeah. I remember.
And that the
Who,
Pat
Pat?
Garrett band I heard was good. I've never seen Pat Garrett, though.
Yeah.
Pat Garrett.
Wow.
I thought we were beyond having little name tags, but hey, when you were a kid growing up, Dennis, you were a Cub fan, I'm sure, right?
No, Sox fan.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot about the Sox. I remember
Salt cider.
I was probably 8 years old, maybe even less. My dad took us down, me and my cousin, down to Wrigley to watch the Braves play the Cubs. And I think it was in late May of, I want to say 57. Ernie Banks hits a grand slam. And so we're surrounded by Cub fans. And can you see this is my old Milwaukee Braves hat. It's not an old hat, but I mean, it's an original.
It says M for moron. That's
Yeah.
actually what it means.
That's why my head's still.
But okay.
So Aaron comes up a couple innings later, and I says, "You watch this." He hits a grand slam. So, and I forget who won, but that was a day when both Banks and Henry Aaron both hit grand slams. So he was quite a guy. And but you know,
What year was that?
I want to say 57 or 58.
Both nice gentlemen too, you have to say. So
I know in the 60s, you could have stayed anywhere you wanted in Wrigley Field.
Well, you know, all the way up until then, up until just I think recently, when Phil Wrigley owned the Cubs, the only reserve seating was the box seats, the lower box seats. You paid a general admission, you could sit wherever you want, and that was probably why nobody went. The Cubs had a terrible team in all those years, and like the slogan says, every team needs 100 years to rebuild.
kind of like the Bears.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only time I was ever in Wrigley Field for a Bear game, 1969.
That might have been the last year they played there. Didn't they?
Didn't they have to chop off a corner of the end zone?
No,
There
they came up right up.
to fit it in.
They
Okay,
went
okay.
from first baseline to left field, and the end line was about like this from the brick wall,
Yep.
and you didn't want to run a pass down to that way. But
I went to a bunch of Packer games at County Stadium too. It was
that was a bad field,
Yep.
at least County Stadium, from what I understand, because it was crested to have the water run off.
Yep.
So when Brett Favre starts playing there, I mean, there was, he said, about a 6 or 8 inch
yeah,
drop from the
yeah.
middle of the crown of the field.
It's the first game ever
Yeah.
they played the Baltimore Colts at that time. It was it was pouring rain. So fortunately, I went with my dad and his friend and his kid too. So we're there, but we had 4 tickets and we could not sit together. So I had the only one that was under the roof, and it's pouring rain and it's like everybody else got soaked. So
But back in the day, every pro football team, you take the Lions, the Jets and the Giants, all played in football stadiums. The Giants played at Yankee Stadium, and the Jets played in Shea Stadium. And well, you look.
it's all about the cash.
Yeah.
That's it.
Look out.
You couldn't build separate stadiums.
The 49ers played in Candlestick Park, and the Rams played. Actually, the Rams they played in the Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But very few. They all played in
When
baseball
the
stadiums.
NFL really took off, Roselle really did a good job.
Yep.
Well, he was the one that negotiated all the television contracts, was he? I mean, that's when they started getting some money. Dennis?
Where's Gunda? Miss Gunda, when if he knows you're back.
Oh,
knows
don't entice him. Okay.
He was at the party.
Yeah, Gunga was there.
Gunga was it?
Gunga knows you're back.
I hope he calls up.
Hey, how about that? I don't know. Surely you don't know who Cy Costabile is, do you? Famous drummer at Union Park. At any rate,
Piano player.
piano player. He won 2 quarters of the strip cards.
Uh-oh. We've got somebody else here.
All right, hang on, folks.
Is it Gunda? Home?
Nope. Hello, you're on Kenosha today.
Oh, hey, Scott, happy birthday, belated, I guess.
That's Paul.
Well, Paul, it was actually in November, and we were going to have it on a Packer game, but the Packers
Hi, Paul.
they kept switching the times, and so this was a convenient time, and it turned out with my daughter's wedding, turned out pretty good. So, hey, Paul, did you get your vaccine yet?
No, but it's interesting. I can get it, actually. I was texted about a week and a half ago, and I have yet to get it, but I'm still thinking about it.
Well, here's you're an EMT, aren't you?
Right.
I think you'd be in the top in the front of the list there, as I thought.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm just waiting. I've known people who've gotten it, just kind of seeing how they're reacting to it before I decide to.
It's a
Good idea.
Yeah. Supposedly, I'm 71. Anybody now over 65 is going to get them.
Yeah, they said, by
And
June.
70,000 doses a week. Now, here's the problem. And I was just told this yesterday. A guy went into his doctor to get a vaccine. He says, I have it. I got a whole bunch of it, but I don't have the authorization from the governor to give it to you. Now, the expiration date ends on Sunday. And if he doesn't get rid of it today, he's got to throw it all out. So,
Oh, my gosh.
yeah, that's,
That's terrible.
well,
All kidding aside, Scott, these are the things that just make you live it, you know? I mean, it just goes to show how little they care about us.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Terrible.
did you folks get your stimulus check?
No,
I did. I got mine.
I got.
We got a little bit of that.
my parents got a card.
That's what I'm glad Emma brought that up because I got a paper check, some got direct deposit, and some got these little debit cards that you have to with a letter and you have to call the number and activate it, and then you can. It's like a debit card. And if you didn't get it, there's a way to recover this on your 2020 taxes. Now they're talking about rolling out another stimulus, maybe I don't know, February or something. They haven't yet to figure out how they're going to do this. Make it a tax credit, give you the card, or give you the check, or make a deposit. But when they do that, the IRS is shut down till everybody gets. We can't start processing returns until mid-February, February 12th, because it all comes from the Treasury Department. And there's still people that haven't gotten the refund from 2019 because of that. So
It's called incompetence in action.
yeah. Well, I know that they're understaffed, but nevertheless.
That doesn't matter. They're still just incompetent.
Yeah. So hopefully they can get that straightened out because now it's affecting my life.
Good. Yeah, we got a regular check.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, hey, well, yeah, we got a regular check too. On your birthday, did your grandchildren talk Grandpa out of doing a flyby with the ultralight?
You know, the discussion.
He's not allowed in Pleasant Prairie anymore. That's
Hey.
the problem. So,
Hey, Paul, the discussion
or
was something.
Bristol, excuse me.
The
I got
discussion
Bristol.
was short. Went something like, "You want to still stay in my will?" That was it. Kaput.
Just think of what a disaster that could have been. Why is Grandpa losing altitude?
Because his ex-wife is on the other side.
Right. Hey, I got a comment that every one of us can think of a person, okay?
Okay.
Now, somebody won that. I have a friend who lives in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Now, somebody in Michigan won that $1 billion.
Yep.
There's a person in our lives that if they were to win the lottery, we'd be extremely upset about, right? Think about that person, each one of you.
Well, I wouldn't be upset if it was me.
No, but I'm saying there's somebody in your circle of friends or that, that if they were to win, you'd just be PO'd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I guess.
No, there's nobody. I don't really care about them. So
So go ahead, finish it off, Paul.
No, it's just, when I saw that it was Michigan, and that's my friend who lives over there, I was like, oh my God, if he wins it, I'm going to be irritated.
You know, there was one person that won the Powerball in Maryland, $731 million. There's 300 families in this small town in one convenience store. So, and in Maryland is one of the states that the winners can remain anonymous. I don't know about Michigan, but why anybody would go announce to the world, hey, I got
those are all M states.
Yeah,
That's the whole.
that you announce to the world that you got 700 and some million. You know, why you just don't want to do that? Hire yourself an out-of-town attorney, have a go pick it up and get some trust.
I heard somebody talking about it. You hire 2 accountants and 2 attorneys so to make sure that one doesn't rip you off.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, but
Why would one person do with all that money? It's
you know, there's been many.
more of a curse.
It's a curse. It's a curse. Yep.
After
You know,
friends you didn't know you had, relatives you didn't know you had,
there's
and you could never be left alone.
well, there's
I would never say I wanted.
one of the stories was anybody that won a little bit lower, let's say about 5 million. In 7 years, it's all gone. I mean, they've run
Yeah.
stories of these. So
Really,
Yeah.
I've often said that if I were to win that kind of money, the first thing I would do is I would inform my immediate family, and I would give them security because you're talking that kind of money, those ridiculous kind of sums of money. You know, people'd be after you. You'd have to fly underneath the radar as much as possible.
Oh, right. That would be terrible.
Surely-
You wouldn't have a peace. You couldn't go out, or it would be, I wouldn't. A couple million I'd like, but I'd no way.
oh yeah,
Surely you could build a really big garage with that kind of money. You know that.
heat lamps. Hey, here, this is a true story. This is 10 years ago. One of my clients called, and I'd done his taxes for probably 10 at the time. And he calls me and he says, it was about March. And he says, are you going to raise the price to do my taxes? I said, no, why are you calling? And he says, well, I just won $250,000 in the Wisconsin lottery. And I said, oh, congratulations. What'd your wife say? He says, I haven't called her yet. He calls me first. And I knew what he was trying to do.
Smart guy.
I said, you are aware this is a community property state, and you know if you win, she's got to go along with this. He said, oh, okay.
Not unless you have a marital property agreement. But
You know that's how money turns people into some kind of greed or whatever. But
well, I remember when the lottery first started going. There's this guy in Racine. He won $3 million, and he blew. They found him 6 months later. He had a nice car, and he had spent all the money on booze, hookers, and cocaine. And
That's a plan.
and his, when the cops arrested him for something, okay, they opened up the trunk of his BMW or whatever they had, and it was full of lottery tickets. That was the whole.
Hey, Shirley, you got some weather for us?
Yes, I do.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go today. Sun giving away to clouds, not as cold, 28 to 24. And tomorrow, a bit of snow, otherwise cloudy, and it's going to be warmer, 33 to 26. And Monday, cloudy and breezy, afternoon snow, and Tuesday and Wednesday it just says low clouds. So we probably are going to get a little snow around here.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
You're-
All I know is it's going to be 81 degrees in Lahaina on Thursday.
In
Going
where?
to Florida?
Lahaina.
All right, you got me. What's that about? Huh?
Are we going to be there?
You got it.
Yay!
I still didn't understand where you're going.
No, he's going to Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
He was talking with K-Dog about that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you're really going?
Well, you got to pass a COVID test, so, you know.
Uh-huh.
You know,
He's going to be down there smoking some of that Maui Wowie, Shirley. So that's the.
Yeah.
Don't kid about that. About 2 years ago when I was there, a guy came up to me on Front Street, and it looked like he had a hooker with him, too, and he goes, hey, you want to buy some Maui Wowie? And I had my retirement star on me, and I felt like one. I said, no, I'm not going to pull it out.
you know, you were talking to K-Dog at the party about going to Hawaii, and I remember he just got out of there by a day before they shut everything down. And when I was talking to him about a year ago about his trip coming up, I says, are you going, how are you going? He goes, I think I'm going nonstop. And I said, you're going to Hawaii, you better be nonstop. There's not a lot of places in between this, to land this thing. Hey, you guys want to hear the...
Well, he said he's going to Chile, too, now.
Yeah, his wife's got
No,
him.
Argentina.
Argentina, yeah.
Argentina, they're
Isn't
going
that-
down
isn't
there.
it?
That's what Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Hey, we missed. It was just Penguin Awareness Day, so K-Dog loves penguins. They're going down to the tip of Argentina to see, down in Patagonia to see the penguins.
Hey, Captain Mike called us when we were at the boathouse about a week ago. He says, what are you doing? He says, well, I'm laying with a bottle of vodka on a bench, and I'm getting drunk, looking at the water. Shocking. That's
the same thing you do in Kenosha. Okay, all right.
Same thing. All right, here we go. Written in our home office here at Barter Manor, this week's top 10 thought-provoking category. The top 10 good things, Paul, about getting a COVID-19 vaccine shot. Number 10, chicks dig guys over the age of 70 that have lots of phlegm. Number 9, get to be clammy with Kenosha County Health Director Jen Phosphate. And that's not her name, but who cares? Number
Close
8, 8, sure beats doing shots of Clorox. Number 7, love to belong to a herd immunity. Well, that needs work. Number 6, Dr. Fauci and Dr. Kevorkian seem to be one and the same. Number 5, the thrill of getting your temperature taken via a rectal thermometer.
Yep.
Number 2 words, contact Long Island's. Number 3, changing your online dating site to Big Puker. Number 2, prisoners love your new soap on a rope gift set. And the number 1 good thing about getting a COVID-19 vaccine shot, you get quarantined for 14 days on a trolley to nowhere. I'm a little rusty. You know, that's shameful on my...
I got a question with Shirley's weather report about snow, and they're supposed to get probably even more up in Green Bay. Who's going to shovel the stands, or do you have to shovel from your own seat out of those 22,000 people?
Hey, you know what? I took a tour, and you know why? This is a true story. Lambeau Field is the only one in the country that does not, the pro field, that does not have backs on their seats.
Seats. It's
And
all
the reason-
bleachers.
And the reason they do that is they put it out on Facebook at 3 a.m. In 3 hours, they will have thousands of people there.
They put up like
Chutes.
It's almost like a giant
Yeah.
slip and slide, and they just dump all the snow into that.
Into the
it goes
truck and
down-
out the way it goes.
Yeah, out the way it goes.
And so here's what happened. The guy tells us they pay $10 an hour,
Yep.
and up until recently they gave people checks for all those years. Well, the people never cashed their checks. They put it in frames and put it in their pretend.
Yep,
And it
yep,
created a accounting nightmare. So
it's almost like a job of honor to
Yeah,
go
it
there.
is, right.
People do it for free up there.
they can plow out that whole stadium, he said, in under 3 hours.
Yep.
So
And that's with like 10 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a little trivia there.
There you go. So, Shirley, you talk about Gunga. It was a pleasure. I got to meet Gunga last week.
Did you boy, he's such a nice
Hey,
guy.
Dennis, you should have used the same line. Do you know Pat Garrett? I was standing there.
Exactly.
I thought you knew. I thought you knew everybody there, but I guess we don't see Pat that often these days. But do you know Pat Garrett? Never met him. That was funny.
Now we got to talk about this woman from West Salem.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes left here.
This is Shirley, ship off the old block here. Okay.
I can show this picture. You can see it a little bit. This gal. Now, she. This is West.
Was she one of your internet dates? Okay, is that it? Okay?
56-year-old West Salem, which is out by La Crosse, on a $25,000 cash. She's charged with holding a man against his will, physically assaulting him over a 2.5-month period. Now, here's what this gal's charged with: abuse, false imprisonment, strangulation, suffocation, operating a vehicle without the owner's consent, and theft. They're all felonies. I mean, this gal's a perfect match for me, don't you think? Dennis?
I don't know, Scott. I don't know. I think I might stay away from that.
Well, she's a real good, pretty-looking gal, don't you think?
Yeah, right. That's what we need right there.
Dennis
Okay.
started back on breathing heavy again.
Looks aren't everything.
Oh,
You got that right, Shirley.
you know,
You got to have a good garage to attract a man. That's
yeah.
Right, yeah. I could build a big garage if I want some of that money.
There was a new bartender at the boathouse one time, and I think she's about 47. So my friend is quizzing her about the kind of man she's looking for, and she goes through all this, and she ends this: "I'm looking for a man with substance." And I goes, "Okay, I'm substance," and K-Dog says, "Substance abuse," but
no,
not my type.
no. There's an old story about that. It was a college professor of mine that he would throw these pop quizzes in, and he called them, well, these are my quizzies. And so it says, okay, now time for one of my quizzies. He'd do it at the end of the test, and this rather attractive girl she had a hard time with this pop quiz and stuff like that. And she walks up and to him after the class and says, this was really hard. If that was one of your quizzies, I'd sure like to see one of your testes. But
This was back in my college days, and this is why I lost my deferment. It was right before Christmas, and I get an essay test, and I had no clue what the answer was. So I just put on there, "Only God knows," and "Have a Merry Christmas." Well, I get the test back the day before we go on vacation, and the professor puts, "God gets an A, you get an F, and have a Happy New Year." So that's why I lost my draft deferment in 1970.
That's funny. That's great.
well, it's 1, 2, 3.
Three.
What are we fighting for?
Kind of lost myself. Sorry. Hey, Dennis, what are you going to do there? Are they going to be closing some of the malls?
We're in Hawaii.
Well, no,
He's going to Hawaii.
in
What
your,
the hell
in
are
your
they-
area. So,
No, surprisingly, a lot of the stuff is still open. Some of the individual stores have closed, but
oh,
the malls themselves are open.
okay. Hey, Paul, you still?
Still shopping a lot.
Just,
Still shopping.
hey, Paul, is the Regency Mall?
Also on the line?
Just a second, Paul. Is the Regency Mall in Racine still open? Paul with us?
He's still online. Yep.
Hey, Paul, you there?
Paul might have dropped off.
Okay.
He's still connected. I don't know. Okay.
Well, if hey, Paul, if you're not there, then we'll just call us back.
We got to drop you because it costs money. Okay. All right. Okay.
You know, it costs us money to talk to you too. You know.
Regency Mall, I think it's still open.
Oh, okay. Well,
There's a lot of stores that are out of there, though.
well,
Yeah, I know.
Penny's-
I haven't been there in years,
Penny's,
but
Sears-
I've heard that a lot of stores are gone.
Penny's,
I
Sears,
love to go up there, but
all the anchors have left, right? Boston store, Penny's, Sears, and a couple other
Well,
ones. I
Boston store became Yonkers.
Boston
didn't
Yonkers, yeah,
Store's
that's
gone,
one.
I think Penny's is gone.
think. Yeah, and you know, if you own that real estate, without that kind of stuff coming in, revenue coming in,
I think Penny's is going to like close all their stores. Did
they
say
filed
that?
for bankruptcy,
Yep.
and
I think the one out by Target, they're going to.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be toast.
Yep.
but that's the age we live in.
You know,
That's a shame, I'm telling you. I miss Sears. No more Sears. I love going to Sears.
you know,
Scott's a Sears guy.
Yeah.
so-
around. I heard they're having today a parental protest gathering at Monument Square in Racine for the parents that want the schools to reopen.
You know, if those teachers don't want to work, get out.
Get out.
That's
Go
good.
find a different
Same
job.
thing with the Kenosha Teachers Union here. You know, they do all
Chicago's
this
even worse. Okay. Oh, no. It's unsafe for us to. No. How about let's stop paying you? How about that? That works for me. So
I thought that when
you ain't gonna work, you're not gonna get paid. So
when we get to the beginning of the third quarter, which I think is coming up this week, last week of January, they're supposed to go back to giving people the option, virtue or in person. You know, if I'm a senior and they do the social distancing and the mask, I want that. I want to go back and have friends in my last year of high school for the social aspect.
Right.
And
Well,
you,
I've been substitute teaching this entire time, and I'm going to be, God willing, I'll be 67 in March, and you know, I've been substitute teaching with everybody from K4 to 8th grade, so I mean, I haven't had any problems.
you could probably
that's
wait a minute. Wait. Hey, Dennis, with the absentees for teachers, you could probably teach every day of the week if you wanted to, right?
You're exactly right, Scott. I get a phone call every morning, and I'm at two different schools, and I have to tell them half the time, sorry, I can't. I'm at the other school today. You know.
Well,
In Kenosha?
no water.
No, out my way.
Oh, okay.
And the principal has come up to me and said, without substitutes, we couldn't keep the schools open.
Very good. I know some other former teachers that were going to start enjoying their retirement, but they give them a pretty good.
I want to say,
pay.
Dennis, if you were doing total virtual schooling, how many students could you handle at one time?
In person.
The largest the classes out this way aren't that big. The largest class I have probably between 25 and 30 kids. That's the absolute largest. I have a lot of classes that have 8 kids, 10 kids, 15 kids. That
Could you handle 500 at could you handle 500 at one time? Virtual schooling.
No.
Okay.
But wait a minute, I take that back. I probably could because I handled close to that in terms of criminals. So
Hey, actually, you know, that's a good point you brought up that we have to just move on.
Well, no, I just said could you have far fewer teachers with no buildings and larger classes and still be able, you know, if you're going to give exams and stuff, you could have automated grading and things like that. So, could this be done?
what we'd probably do is put partitions up so that really large groups weren't all together. They put partitions.
Hey, Dennis.
No, I'm talking virtual schooling. It's all online.
Okay.
That's it. So,
Hey, I got one last question, then we got to wrap this up.
Yep.
Dennis, in your opinion, who had more drugs, kids in high school or the prisoners in the slammer?
Depends what city and what institution you're talking about. I would say some institutions, the prisoners, but there's sometimes the kids in high school. You know, the big problem out this way, you believe it or not, for a while was heroin.
Well, it's still a big problem,
It's
but
kind of gone down now. So
All right, folks, we got to wrap this up. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for your participation.
We love you, Shirley.
All right.
You too, Dennis.
And that's going to wrap it up for the January 23rd edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. I want to thank our sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, Kenosha's For Open Honest Government, Charlie V's Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation. And we have been broadcasting this morning from the Barter Manor studio located on the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. We also invite you to join us on Facebook. And just a reminder, eventually, hopefully in a couple weeks, we're going to be back on Channel 14, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And so for Elmo and myself, until we meet again, thank you for the privilege of your time. Please take care of yourself and each other. I'm Scotty Barter, and have a very pleasant and safe weekend.